Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort.
Kogan.
Drip,
Snort, snort.
I got the drip. Go.
And we had a successful chill return to American Truck Sim streaming on Sunday night. So far, so good. Everything has been great. In fact, if you're not aware, I believe we have had 8 straight streams, if not 9 straight streams, where we have hit all of my support goals. Okay? That's amazing. And it wasn't expected. You know, the last couple of weeks, it was kind of touch and go there, where I would hit a goal, then I would miss a goal, then I would hit a goal, I would miss a goal. I'm very happy that we have had so much support. Now, in addition to that, it's not just one person, because there were a couple streams that were pretty much carried by like one person. But since then, we've still been hitting goals. We've still been getting support. It's been great. So I want to say thank you to anyone who attended my streams over the last week and has supported and allowed me to hit goals. Now, before we even get to hellos and topics, I just want to say this. This stream right now is probably the one stream that I am nervous about the most for support. Why? Because guess what I am playing after the podcast ends? Suikoden 2. And as we know, whenever I play RPGs, particularly more traditional RPGs, it's incredibly hard to bring an audience, or I should say, to retain an audience. I've had no problem getting the audience for a podcast, but as soon as I start playing that game, it's like, oh my God, run for the hills, abandon all hope, get the hell out of Dodge. We'll come back when Phil's done. And that's frustrating because I have a great time playing classic RPGs. This Suikoden 1 and 2 are games that I played when I was in my teens on the PlayStation 1. I absolutely loved these games. Okay, I did. And I wanted to share those experiences with all of you. The Suikoden 1 playthrough, we had really good support for. And in general, we had an engaged audience who came by, hung out, talked about the game, and had a great time. With Suikoden 2, I'm not saying that we haven't had some people come by to hang out and have a good time. We have, but the support has basically been all over the place. We have had streams where we have hit goals, and we have had streams where we have not even come close to hitting half a goal. All right? So it's this simple. This stream right now, let's get some support rallying for the podcast. So that way, if you're not going to stick around for Suikoden 2, that's okay, but we've hit the goal. Seriously, if you like Suikoden 2, stick around and hang out with me and have a great chill afternoon. But if you don't, support the stream for the content that I put out before it, and for, in general, the fact that I am here so often putting out awesome content for you on a daily basis, and the fact that you appreciate it. Let's get some support rolling, and let's crush the goal. Let's break the norm. Let's not make this a pattern where every time that I play Suikoden 2, I'm not going to be getting any support. Instead, let's crush it, all right? So thank you in advance to anyone who supports. We're going to talk about a new kind of support on Kick in just a moment that was added last night out of nowhere. No one was expecting it, and it's kind of out of control. Let's get that out of the way, and then we can talk about the other topic, which is the best games of the year that I'm kind of having a hard time getting people to watch, okay? Cool. We got Copper Chef. We got Extra Bondage doing some kicks right now on Kick. We'll talk about that because you can't see them if you're not live in the Kick chat. There's no way for me to even, like, show these kicks going on right now, unlike my other contributions, right? If I get a tip, I do a manual animation. For Super Chats, we have automated. For members and subs, we have automated. Right now, there's nothing for these kicks, but I will explain soon. So thank you, Extra Bondage over there, who's actually throwing some kicks out. We got RGB Kings completely spamming the chat with moral support. We've got High Tech Operative. What's going on? We have 650J, who's sending 100 kecks, which aren't even real, but it's that meme. A morning toker. Is it really that bad? Is life that bad that the first thing you do when you get up in the morning, you have to hit the weed? Really? That it's kind of like those people too who, like, they can't function without liquor, so they have to get up and have like a Bloody Mary. I couldn't imagine that. Now, how about this? Ian got the ball rolling. How about we have our first tip of the day via PayPal? How about we get our first gifted sub of the day? And how we get a membership. And how about we get our first 100 kick of the day over on Kick? Someone do 100 kicks at once, because I actually count that towards the leaderboard. Okay? Let's go. Let's get that momentum rolling so we can hit that goal and not have to worry about Suikoden 2 being the only game that I don't hit support for when we've been hitting goals every other stream. Let's go. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to talk about these new additions to Kick, because both of them are interesting, but also confusing. It actually seems like they're not necessarily... that emo. They're not necessarily polished yet. Okay, so allow me to explain. So the first new feature that they added to Kick streaming yesterday is a subscriptions goal. What is that and how does it work? Well, what you can do now is you can set a goal for subscriptions that you're trying to hit during a set time period. It could be as short as a few hours. It could be as long as several days to a week. You can basically do it as however you want, and that way you and your viewers have something to work towards when it comes to support. The cool thing about it is you can pick any one of your emotes as the emote that promotes the goal. So I have the new salute emote as the emote promoting this goal, and I actually set this up this morning to be a goal of 25 subs by the end of tomorrow. So that includes this stream, tonight's late night stream of Chronos the New Dawn, tomorrow's daytime stream of Silk Song, and late night tomorrow night, Chill with Phil returns. We haven't done a full-on Chill with Phil stream in a long time, so a Chill with Phil stream tomorrow night. All 4 of those streams combined, we're trying to hit 25 subs on my Kick channel. Can we do it? Can we hit the goal? Can we get the momentum going now? If someone gives a sub, we'll get that momentum rolling. Let's get that going right now. Let's get our first sub towards our 25 goal for the next 2 days. Let's go. Okay. Anyway, by the way, thank you to Terry Bogard, did a 100 kicks. I don't say did a 100 kicks. I say gifted 100 kicks or sent 100 kicks. Okay? So thank you, Terry Bogard. That will count on the leaderboard. Now, if you're wondering, what does that mean? Wait a minute. What are you talking about? I'll explain in a moment, because we're going to explain the Kick system, okay? So each kick is worth a penny. I'm not kidding. So 100 kicks is the equivalent of $1. So now we are up to $7 of support for today's stream. So again, let's get that momentum rolling, right? Let's get our first tip. Let's get our first sub. Let's get our first membership. We got some kicks and we got a super chat. Now let's get some support in the other regions. All right? All right, so I've started a new goal and it worked. I'm literally looking at it right now and it worked live. It's below the stream. It's me saluting like this. It's 25 subs by the end of tomorrow. Okay? So now let's get some subs going. Let's get some support rolling. Let's hit that goal. Let's hit 25 subs in the next 48 hours. How does that sound? That's not too much to ask, honestly, for support on Kick. It's not. In fact, I will say this. I want to get some momentum going because Kick support has been slow this week. In the 2 days I streamed, we've only gotten like 10 subs. Oh, that is correct. Breaking Fist says, are you aware that if you are using the mobile app on iOS or Android, Kick will charge you $6.50 for a sub, but if you use desktop or the web version, they only charge $4.99? Yes. Anytime that you use a mobile app to buy something, there's an upcharge for the app store through which you're using it. So never do that. In fact, a ton of mobile games now are pushing their customer bases to not use any purchases through the game, but instead to go to an online store where you link your account, you buy through the store, then they send you the items you purchased into the game through like an inbox or an email box. That completely bypasses the extra profits that the mobile app stores try to steal for no reason. So I strongly recommend that. If you're going to support anyone on Kick, if you're going to support anyone on YouTube, if you're going to support anyone, hell, on Twitch for that matter, never use the app or app store. Always go through desktop or go to a browser and log in manually through a browser and do it there, or else you are paying significantly more money just to do it through an app. It's absolutely ridiculous. Okay? All right. So, FYI, we have that goal set for tomorrow. Let's do it. We have 4 streams to hit that goal. Let's get our first sub of the day towards that goal right now. All right. So those goals will be set. Now, here's the thing. Some people are already saying, well, will you ever use those goals and actually drive support and do like rewards and things? I don't know yet. First of all, let's even see if it works. It just launched, right? Who even knows if it's going to track properly or what it's going to do? So let's calm down and let's give it a test run. Let's see if the tracking works, if it's proper. You know what I mean? We got to be sure that everything's fine. Once we can confirm that this new feature works, maybe we can do stuff. What? I don't know yet. We can think about it, right? It has to be something quick, obviously. If it's for a certain set number of subs, maybe it's a silly dance. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows, right? But we can figure something out that if we hit the sub goal, that we have a little celebration or a little reward, but I'm just not sure what it could be yet. All right? Cool. Please give me 1 second. Jasper Kitty had jumped in my window, and then he jumped out. But now the sun is coming through the curtains because he moved the curtains. Let me rearrange the curtains for a second, okay? Someone tipped $1.01, says, why do you round down tips? I don't round down tips. I just don't count change. I'm not going to sit here with a fucking calculator counting pennies. I just don't have time. It's not worth my time, quite frankly, okay? There you go. Very simple. All right. Take that shit to the bank. This isn't a bank. This is a stream. Okay. Now, can we get a real tip? Instead of $1.01 from someone trying to be a jerk, let's get a real tip. Come on. Let's get our first real tip of the day, and for God's sakes, let's get our first subscription of the day over on Kick right now. Let's get our first sub towards the goal. Let's see if the goal works. We can't see if it works until someone gets the sub, so someone do it right now. My eye burns. Crap, my eye's burning. I couldn't hold the pose because my eyes started burning. So now we only have 24 subs to go to hit our goal by the end of the week. Let's go. Let's get some more subs on this very stream. Because again, remember, Sweet Code N2, historically, my least supported streams right now. I want to flip that script. I want to change that narrative. I want to hit the goal on this stream so that it's not the dead game or the dead stream that Phil only plays for himself. I want to have people support my content. Let's go. Okay, so now let's talk about the other half of this new equation going on Kick. Kicks. They're actually just called kicks, okay? So on Twitch, they have a bits system, and that bits system is you purchase these bits behind the scenes through Twitch. Twitch charges you a premium. So, for example, over on Twitch, this is just an estimate. I haven't been on Twitch in many years. It used to be like, so you buy 100 bits for like $1.40. So you pay $1.40. Twitch will keep 40 cents. That's their profits. You now have 100 bits to give to a streamer, and each bit is worth a penny. Now, the streamers on Twitch are not allowed to say that. I know how stupid that sounds, because obviously everyone knows that bits have monetary value, but Twitch actually had it in their terms of service that streamers can never say that bits have monetary value, or that's a violation and you will lose your partner status. I wish I was kidding. I'm not. Twitch actually has said that, and there was one time when Twitch actually contacted me and said, stop talking about bits. And I was like, are you fucking crazy? You fucking idiots? I'll talk about what I want. I'm not going to lie to my audience. But they want everyone to lie over there. I think there's some kind of a legal loophole that they try to use for their own taxing purposes to say that bits don't have monetary value when everyone knows that they do. Okay? So, each bit was a penny. So over here on Kick, they're using exactly the same system. You have to buy these kicks ahead of time. How do you do that? Well, take a look right now at the chat. And what you'll see is right next to the chat box where you would type the chat, there's a few different things. And one of them now looks like a house. I don't know why they're using that icon because it just looks like a house to me. But apparently that's supposed to be a store. I don't know why they think that looks like a store. I would have used a $sign, but instead they use a building. Okay? So you click on the building, and then you can buy kicks. Okay? So what is the current exchange rate? Well, I can tell you what it is in the United States. It says get kicks, okay? So for 100 kicks, it's $1.09. For 250 kicks, it's $2.69. For 500 kicks, it's $5.29. For 1,000 kicks, it's $10.55. For 2,500 kicks, it's $26.35, and so on. What it looks like is the more you buy, the less of an upcharge there is, if that makes sense. So basically, if you buy them on a dollar basis, you're paying 9 cents premium per 100. But if you buy, for example, 1,000, you're only paying 55 cents premium, which means it was only 5 cents per 100. So it declines the more you buy at a time. So if you're someone who watches a lot of kick streamers and you're going to be doing a lot of kicks to support them, you're probably going to want to buy the biggest pack possible because you save the most money then. Okay? Now, the way it works is, in that very same menu, there are different levels of kicks that you can do, starting at as little as 1 kick. Then there's 10, 50, 100, 500, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, and a whopping 50,000. And each one of the larger categories starting at 100 has an animated picture that it plays in chat. One of them is like a coin. There's like a suitcase. Don't ask me why there's a suitcase. A bullhorn, a sneaker, a big blinged out K necklace, and the 50,000 kicks is a giant grenade. So you might say, well, what's the value? Well, I don't know yet because they haven't contacted us to even tell us. But if it works like Twitch, which I'm assuming it does, why wouldn't it? Each single kick is a penny. So if you do the math, a 100 kick is $1. 500 kicks is $5. 50,000 kicks would be $500. So right now, if someone were to do a 50,000 kick grenade on my channel, we would hit 3 goals immediately. So let's go. Who's going to be the first 50,000 kicker on DSP Gaming Reel on Kick? Let's go. I will put you on the Wall of Fame. You will be there immortalized as the first ever 50,000 kicker. Let's go. Let's hit it. Yes. Okay. So that's how it works. Now, when you do those kicks, okay, it displays your contribution in the chat. It'll show, like I said, an emo or a moving animation for those. And they go, like I said, 1, 10, 50, 100, 500, etc. Now, herein lies the problem and the rub. Okay, as of right now, they just launched these last night. This wasn't even on my first stream yesterday. It was only on my late stream. Okay. The way that they've set it up currently, there's absolutely no way for me, the streamer, to regulate any of this at all. Okay? Well, what does that mean? It means that right now, someone could keep sending 1 kicks and spam the chat entirely, and I have absolutely no way to control that whatsoever. Okay? And that's actually what happened last night, is when I was streaming Gears of War Reloaded, people were buying 100 kicks for $1, well, $1.09, okay? And then they were literally going 1 kick, 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 1 kick. Okay, I think you get the idea. So this lasted, I'm not kidding you, 30-some minutes, where the chat was literally just 1 kick spam moving up the chat. And so, of course, Dunsfelter was modding, and he's like, well, how do we stop it? And we were both looking at it like, you can't. There's actually no way. If you time the person out or you even moderate them by banning them, they can still send kicks. So there's no way to stop the kick spam right now at all. They coded in the kicks, but they didn't actually test it. So anyone could just sit there spamming, and you can't stop it, okay? Now, you might say, well, why would you want to stop it? That's support. Well, you're right, except here's the rub. Let's say, for example, someone walks up to you on the street and says, hey, man, here's $5. Seriously, just take it. You'd be like, oh, cool. I'll take $5. Thank you so much. Now, what if someone walked up to you on the street and they had 5 rolls of pennies and they said, hey, man, here's $5. here's a penny, here's a penny, here's a penny, here's a penny, here's a penny. And you're like, what the fuck? And the pennies they're bouncing off your chest, they're bouncing off your face. The fuck, the shit they do. That's the equivalent of what's happening on Kick right now. Is, listen, I like support, don't get me wrong, but you pelting me with pennies doesn't really add up to anything significant, but it completely derails the chat. People can't even talk. Last night, I'm not kidding, people could not talk during Gears of War because there were so many kicks bouncing off the chat. You couldn't even see their text lines. It was just 1111111. Oh, look, someone said something. 1111111. So, absolutely, there's going to have to be a way to regulate this. What I'm assuming is they're going to put the same thing in place that you could do on Twitch, where you could set it up that there has to be a minimum level of contribution, either for it to even go through or for it at least to show up in chat. Okay? That's what I'm thinking. There's no way that they're just going to let this fly forever and everyone's going to be able to go 11111. It's going to be to everyone's chat. Can you imagine right now on a big Kick streamers chat what it must be like? Because right now, I mean, I'm a small-time guy. I have, 80 viewers? I'm curious, how many viewers do I have right now? I have 100 viewers, exactly. Wow, how did I get exactly 100? So with exactly 100 viewers, we got a few people doing it. It's not that big of a deal. But can you imagine on a big Kick streamer who's like 1,000 viewers, 2,000 viewers, and everyone's flicking ones? You probably can't see the chat at all, so how are they ever going to interact with their audience, right? So there has to be some kind of a regulation. There's no way they're just going to allow this to nonstop go down, all right? Now, FYI, this does mean that there's some changes. You probably already see one of them. I am going to be tracking kicks on my stream in increments of 100 kicks or more, meaning if you do 100 kicks at once or higher, I'm going to count that towards my stream. I'm going to put you right here, top kicks. Right now, it's Terry Bogard who did the first 100. If someone does more than 100, they will take up Terry Bogard's spot, just like we do with every other level of contribution, okay? Now, you might say, well, I don't understand. Why aren't you going to count the single kicks or the 10 kicks or the 50 kicks? Because it's too much. People are just going to start spamming. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, this was the first person who did 10 and 50. Forget that shit. It's got to be $1 or more. It's the same thing with tips. It's the same thing with super chats. It always has been. You got to hit that certain criteria to be counted. Okay? Fair enough? So, that's how I'm going to track it. Now, as of this morning, there is currently no way to have any pop-ups and celebrations on my stream for kicks. That's of today. I would assume this is a brand new thing. What's now going to happen is all the services that are streaming integration services are going to run to code in these kicks, and likely within I'm going to guess a week. I'm going to guess that within 1 week, they will have the ability to actually do pop-up thank you messages for kicks. Okay? And if that's the case, I'm going to do exactly what I'm doing now with the shout-outs. If you do 100 kicks or more, I'll actually have an animation play. And then we'll have incremental, 100, 500, 1,000, for those levels. And we'll have different animations for them. Okay? But I'm not going to go crazy. I'm not going to be doing every single kick or anything like that. But I like the animations. I would love to do that. I mean, I think it was a huge improvement when we actually added the animations for the streams for subs, right? I think it's awesome when someone gives a sub, you get to see the animation pop up and everything. So we are going to do that when these kicks get implemented, whenever they do, through these services, okay? Now, there's another big caveat here, all right? And what is it? Currently, I have no ability whatsoever to actually see how many kicks have been given to me. They didn't even code a screen yet on the Kick streamer dashboard that tracks kicks. So I have no idea last night how many actual kicks I got. Remember, I was getting one kick, one kick, one kick. I don't know how many there were. There's nowhere to even see that. It doesn't exist. And last night, Kick staff was in my chat. This guy named Brian showed up, and I asked him directly, is there a screen somewhere for this? And he says, no, it doesn't exist yet, but it will. So as of now, I don't even know if there will be a significant impact on my income with these kicks. There's no way to track it whatsoever. Okay? So let's see what happens. Obviously, listen, I'm not going to say, hey, don't use kicks. They're too intrusive. No, right? So go ahead. Please support the stream with them. I appreciate any support. I really do. And I'm hoping that it does add up. And I'm hoping that overall it will be an improvement to the support that I get on the streams and it'll help out the business. But I hope that they quickly implement all these things that are missing. Because, man, it's going to suck if we have a few weeks where everything's like half done and not functioning properly. Terry Bogart says, if I give 50,000 kick points, where will I go in the Hall of Fame? Well, maybe we should actually do a Hall of Fame if you guys wanted it. But you guys would have to be okay with it. Like, I used to have that. I used to have a leaderboard that would track overall contributors, but then people started getting harassed because of it. My detractors would go after those people. So then I did away with it because people were saying, oh, it was, too much of a annoying thing. You guys wanted to have like a kick Hall of Fame where we could have like, top kicker. I would maybe could create that. Maybe I could do like a slide that we play on the streams that says, here's the current top kicks leaderboard of the people who are the top kickers who did, I did a 50,000 kick and now I get recognition for it or whatever. Okay. Excuse me. We could maybe do something like that. All right. So let's see. Let's see how it goes. All right. Now, hopefully everything is going to work out fine today. Please understand, if something goes wrong with these kicks, if the chat is spammed or whatever, I can't do anything about it. I literally have no power. My hands are tied. Okay. They are. My hands are tied. Ian says, will you do badges for high kickers? Again, that's another thing. Kick does not allow you to gift out custom badges except for subs. That would be awesome. Imagine if I could assign a special badge if you're currently the person who did a 50,000 kick. I'd do that. I would make a badge and do it, but they don't have that. That's what I mean. What I'm hoping is, yes, they launch this fast, but hopefully they'll put more thought into it and there'll be more features and things associated with it, because I would absolutely love that. To be able to gift out stuff as, rewards or thank yous to people who contribute to my streams, okay? I guess we'll have to see what happens. All right? So, as of now, the kicks are in effect. You can send kicks to support the channel. Sadly, I can't track them to know how many I'm getting, but if you do 100 or more, I'll give you a shout out and I'll put you on the leaderboard, and we'll go for there, okay? Awesome. Someone tipped $2, says, you have advice on being a good cat dad? Sure. You have to be very patient with cats because cats are not like dogs. A dog, basically, you can train a dog to be very obedient and to be like a faithful companion. A cat is nothing like that whatsoever. A cat is a creature that has its own personality, and you basically have to judge your cat based off of its personality type. There's 3 types. There's, I forget what they actually call them because there's official names for them, but they color code them. One is like red, one is blue, and one is green. Red is like the cat is a loner and wants nothing to do with you besides food. Blue is kind of middle of the road where the cat will sometimes want to spend time with you, but a lot of the times is independent, but it's still a sociable cat. But a lot of the times it'll go off by itself. These cats usually are fine being left alone. And then you've got green cats, and that's what Jasper is. Jasper is the social cat. He absolutely 100% of the time wants to be with you no matter what you're doing. Seriously, you go to take a dump, he's sitting outside the bathroom, sticking his paws under the bathroom door because he wants to be with you. How dare you close the door on me that I can't be with you? Okay? So you need to learn your cat's personality type, and you need to adapt properly. If you treat the cat the wrong way, the cat actually might have an adverse reaction. If you have a red or a blue cat and you try to snuggle with it all the time like it's a green cat, that cat might actually be angry with you and actually start having bad behaviors because it doesn't like the way that you're treating it. Okay? With a cat, you absolutely need to adhere to a diet for said cat. Do not be feeding it human foods. Even as much as people like to say, oh, cats drink milk. No, they don't. If you give a cat milk, it gets sick. They cannot digest like cow's milk like we can. You should research and find out per your breed of cat what the best food is and stuff like that. And you should only feed it exactly what you're supposed to give it. Like, for example, with Jasper Kitty, 1 bowl of dry food a day, and it's a special dry food that treats him for urinary tract because he's had some urinary tract infections years ago. So we give him this specialized food. Then we usually give him a wet treat once a day. And then every once in a while, we'll give him a little bit of wet food also as a treat. But we buy him the good stuff, the one that's meant for like special diet. And he's good. He hasn't had a medical problem, I think, in about 1.5 years, 2 years, since he's had a single medical problem. okay, since we adjusted his diet. So you need to be about that. You can't just say, oh, I got a cat. Let me just go out and buy, the big bag of the dry-ass food that's cheap. That's garbage. It's full of carbs. It's full of things your cat doesn't need. You know what really kills me about cats? How people have food for it that's like for humans. Like you'll go to the store to look at cat food. It'll be like, oh, look, it's beef with cheese and rice. You have a cat. You don't have a gourmand that's going to sit there with a fork and knife and eat it and rate the flavors. It's a cat. All it needs is the protein. It doesn't need the rice. It doesn't need the cheese. A cat should never have to eat cheese ever in its life. There's no reason for that. You understand? So that's what I mean. I have a million things I could tell you about cats. Hopefully at least some of that has been a good initial digestion of information there. But I have a lot of things that I've learned being a cat dad. So for me, I'm looking at all these games. I'm like, wow, overall, this year, it hasn't necessarily been one of the best for gaming, but the games that stand out are all unique for one reason. They're all indie/small studio games, not giant AAA releases. The AAAs have failed. They have fallen flat on their face and have miserably flunked out, while these little guys who were like the little guys that could, right? They have absolutely persevered. They have broken through that barrier to become some of the best games of the last many, many years. Okay? So that's one thing that all those games have in common. But there is another thing that those games also have in common that I feel like I need to bring up because particularly they apply to my content and my streams. All right? Player Obscure, Blueprints, Silksong. What is the common factor among all three of those games in regards to me and my content? Should I just tell you? Okay. The common factor is I streamed all three of them, and every time that I do, I cannot retain an audience at all. Seriously. When I start playing any of those games, I lose audience. I'll give you a perfect example. Right now, I currently have 224 viewers on YouTube. I currently have 104 viewers on Kick. And if I booted up Silksong right now to play it, I would go down to 130 viewers on YouTube and 50 viewers on Kick. And I'm not exaggerating. But if I booted up Call of Duty, I would retain the viewership. In fact, the viewership might even go up. Wait, what? So if I play an overblown, overproduced AAA game, comes out every year, never any different, same old song and dance, repetitive game loop over and over, I can get more viewers than playing the unique, best-in-class, small-time developed, but amazingly awesome, hit it on all cylinders, amazing Game of the Year contender? Yes. For some reason, this audience will not stick around for the best games. And I guess the question is, what gives? All right? Because I've heard various different reasonings for this. I've heard things like, well, these games are boring. I've heard things like, well, they're so popular, people have already seen them. Or we're actually playing them, so we don't want to watch, right? I've heard all these different rationales. And maybe in truth, the actual truth of the matter is somewhere in the middle of all of them. Maybe because everyone's already playing them, you've already seen them elsewhere, they aren't so particularly fun to watch, they're more fun to play. Maybe it really is just like right in the middle, you get one of those big diagrams, and you have this percentile, so then you have the thing that overlaps in the middle. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But I want you to understand from my perspective, okay? I am the streamer. I'm the creator. I'm the one who plays the games and tries to make entertaining streams and playthroughs for all of you. The goal of the stream that I put out is to get an audience, to hook that audience, to engage and entertain that audience so that they will want to, in turn, engage with me during the stream and then reciprocate with support. Okay? That's the point. That's the business model. I put out the free content. Hopefully the content is good enough for you. You like it, that you want to support it. And then I can stay in business and I can support my family and I can make a good living while you continue to get that level of quality content that you're enjoying because you supported it. So, there you have it. So, if you take a look at the games that I'm playing, doesn't it make sense that I should focus on games that are going to bring in the most amount of viewers, that are going to bring in the most amount of engagement and the most amount of support? I think it does make sense. And if you look at Clear Obscure, Blueprints, there were sometimes those streams did well, and there were many times those streams did poorly. They were not hitting goals. Viewership was poor, but I continued to play them regardless. Why? Because I loved those games, and I knew those are Game of the Year contenders, and I need to play them, or else, number one, I'm doing myself a disservice as a gamer. Number two, when I get to the end of the year, there's no way that I can do like the best and worst games of the year if I don't play the best games. And number three, because quite frankly, I want to get some level of enjoyment out of what I'm doing. And not to say that I don't get enjoyment out of playing Call of Duty or something, but I feel like this job would have way less meaning to me if I wasn't allowed to play the best games. You understand? If I was told you have to purposefully skip all the best games of the year because no one cares about them on your streams, just play this garbage instead, I would probably hate my job. I would never want to do this again. Seriously. And I understand that this is a business and it's my job. You know, I get that. It is about support and stuff like that. But at the same time, at some point, you got to kind of put your foot down and be like, no, I'm also going to try to enjoy myself while I'm doing it. That's the point of gaming. Okay? That is. Like, that's the whole idea behind video games, is that you somehow get a level of enjoyment out of it. It's not supposed to be you're sitting down to play a video game and you're grinding and it's work. That's actually not the point. I think a lot of content creators have lost that joy, that point. Oh, it's time for the daily grind, yo. I got to jump into this one game that I play every single stream, and I got to go good. I have to get my placing and my ranking, and I have to level up and get a certain amount of points today. That's not the mentality of someone who enjoys video games at all, and I don't even understand it. Maybe you do. Maybe you're into the whole esports thing and shit, and oh, my gaming is my grind, and that's how I make my living. Yo, grind this shit out today. What the fuck are you talking about? The point of video games is supposed to be enjoyment. If you're sitting there and you play a game for 5 hours on a stream and you don't enjoy a moment of it, you fucked up. You're doing it wrong. That's not the point of what was created. You understand? It's supposed to be for the joy of it. And I get it because it's all about money now. It's the same thing that happens with professional sports or wherever big money comes, right? Well, do you think that the pro athlete always loves what they're doing? No, but they should at the very least love the game they're playing. If they're going to make it their living and what they're going to do the most of, then they should actually have some level of enjoyment of doing it. I think that's been lost by a hell of a lot of people. Okay? Seriously. I don't get it. So you understand where my frustration comes in. Best games of the year are coming out. I start playing them. I'm blown away. I love them. And the immediate feedback I get from the chat, this game's boring. Go back to Call of Duty. Go back to this other game where we get a quick laugh or whatever. We don't want to see you play this one because it's too long. That gets me. It's too long. It's too long. Isn't that supposed to be a good thing? Like, if the game has a good story, good gameplay elements, don't you want more of it? But a lot of people, no, the game's too long. I just can't follow it. I can't tune into that stream or whatever, right? So that's what I mean. It frustrates me when I know these are the best games. I want to put out playthroughs of them, and people aren't along for the ride. Instead, they say, well, I'll be back when he plays so-and-so instead. But what about this being one of the best games of the year? I don't care. So honestly, I would like your feedback on this, okay? Because here's the thing. Some of these do get support. As of now, the reason that I have kept Hollow Knight Silksong in the rotation as primarily a daytime stream is because it has worked. Every single time that I've streamed Silksong, we've hit the support goal. So I'm able to then keep it as a daytime stream, even though the attendance dwindles, even though we go from 220 viewers down to 100 something, low hundreds. Still, I hit my support goal, so I'm able to still do that stream. Do you understand? Let's try to get some feedback, shall we? Please tag me in the chat. Gumbulon Prime, I'm just going to say this. What you said is so fucking stupid. He goes, got to remember, people are here for you and you have to be entertaining. Dude, if I wasn't entertaining, no one would be on this podcast, okay? No one would watch my content. No one would support it. There wouldn't be thousands of people who clip and restream. I'm entertaining. May not be for the same reasons. Some could be positive, some could be negative, but people find me entertaining, you incredible fucking idiot. Or else no one would be here. That's the dumbest statement I've ever heard. Christian says, when you force yourself to play a game that you don't like, it comes through. I think you should just play what you like. Well, here's the thing. I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, this is a business. I do have to have streams that are going to pay the bills. So there may be a time when there's a game that I'm not particularly liking at that moment, but maybe I'll like it better later. That's happened. There's been a few games at first I don't like, or there's moments I don't like, but overall, I do enjoy my experience, okay? Also, to be honest, it doesn't work. For example, like I've literally just talked about on this podcast, I love classic JRPGs. I would like to play more of them. I wanted to play Metaphor last year, but after playing 12 hours of the demo, we weren't hitting any goals whatsoever, and it was my least supported stream, so I had to drop the game and never played the full retail version. Okay? That's direct feedback I got from the audience. Now, let's say I said, well, screw it, I'm playing it anyway. So now I commit to an 80-hour playthrough. Okay? That could be upwards of 40 streams where every time I play it, I'm not making any money. How do I stay in business? The answer is I don't. And I've had to make tough decisions like this where I have to say, this works, this doesn't. Stay with this, drop this. And there's nothing you can do. When you're an adult and you have responsibilities and this is your job, you have to make those tough decisions. Okay? A lot of people don't. This is just funny to them, their hobby. They can do whatever they want because they have a 9 to 5 outside of it. Or they're so large, they're so huge that they don't have any financial problems because they're getting thousands and thousands of viewers a stream. They're rolling in dough. Well, that's not me. I'm the normal dude, the guy who has a normal life just like you, and I sit here and I enjoy games, and I have to play things that work for my job. No one goes to work, works an 8-hour shift, and the boss says, oh, well, you're just not getting paid for today because it didn't really help anything. Oh. I'm really hoping that at least a few days when I work this week, I'll make some money. You know? It's not how life works. So, excuse me. I do think that playing everything that I want to play would never work, just to be honest, okay? But I'm okay with balancing. I'm okay with balancing things so that we have enough of the things that other people want and I want, or finding that happy medium to make ends meet. Then I'm good with that. And that has been working. It has. It's just that sometimes there's tough decisions that have to be made on what gets played and what doesn't. Mute says viewer quality over viewer quantity. Now that is actually quite an important factor. Quality over quantity. All right. Why? Because you might have 5,000 viewers, but if 4,500 of the viewers are fucking trolls who hate your guts, it doesn't matter that you have 5,000 viewers. Get it? You need to have people who like who you are, who like the content you put out, who will engage and support said content. Because then it doesn't matter how many viewers you have, you're still successful. That's what's been happening, honestly, with Silksong. Even though it's not a large audience for it, there are people who like the game and come and support it, so I can keep playing it. And I'm very grateful for that. I really, really am, because I love that game. It's the same thing with Suikoden right now, and that's the conundrum I'm having about Suikoden 2. Suikoden 1 was well supported. Suikoden 2 is not being well supported. It is dipping in views and is dipping in support, and I want to keep it going. At this point, we're just reaching around the halfway point of the game, but I don't know if I can keep it going now because people aren't supporting it as much. You know, I really hope that today we can rally and hit the goal. I mean, here we are an hour into the podcast, almost done with the show, and I've raised what? Not even $20? That's horrible. That's not good. The whole idea was that I was trying to get a head start, so when I play Suikoden, we're good. But you see my point? Like, there's certain games that I love, that I think are great, and in some cases that the entire gaming community think are Game of the Year contenders, and I can't get people to come by the streams. And I don't know what to do about that. Buckwill says, what's the difference between yesterday's talk and today's podcast? Yesterday's talk wasn't a talk. It was a build-up session to get attendance before we started gameplay, and it lasted about 30 minutes. The podcast runs typically 90 minutes. The podcast has set topics that we cover that I like to have as segments, you know, a planned out show, as opposed to those build-up things are just kind of messing around and killing time. It's a different vibe, completely. Here's your answer. Gameplay streams on Kick are dead as fuck. IRL vlogs dominate the site. So what? What's the point of that statement? You know I can't do IRL content because of the level of trolling that I have. So you know it's not possible. So what's the point of what you just said? How does it even apply to me? You know who I am. You know the content I make. You know that I'm completely different. Every time that you look at my situation stands apart from everyone else's because I am unique. I'm a guy who's been around for 17 years. I'm in a unique situation with the level of scrutiny that's on me every day, the level of harassment that's on me. I do things differently. What's the norm for others is not the norm for me. I get good support from Kick for gameplay. I do. Between the subs, the viewership, and now these kicks that are going to be coming, I get good support. Do you really think that I would be co-streaming on Kick if I didn't get anything out of it? Of course I do. So your point is a moot point. It doesn't apply. It's invalid. I don't even know what you're trying to say. So the thing is, I get people who are trying to be like helpful, but they don't understand that the way that they're saying things, it doesn't help. Like one person just says, you're overcomplicating things. If you absolutely never talked about income, if you never talked about support, if you didn't have goals, if you just played games and had fun, you'd be successful. Wrong. Wrong. Want to know how I know that? Because I've been doing this for 17 years, and I have the track record to show that that just doesn't work. There was a time when I didn't have to do that shit, right? There was a time when everything was based off ad revenue and things were good. Those times are long fucking gone, dude. Long gone. In fact, the only streamers that don't have to talk about support are the streamers that have gone viral. The ones that hit the algorithm and they get thousands and thousands of viewers a day. They don't ever have to mention goals or income. Literally every other fucking streamer does it. All right? I'm just going to say this as clearly as I can say it. You're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't do this for a living. You wish you could. You watch big streamers and then you try to apply that to small-time people. That's not fair. In fact, that's insane. It means you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. Your opinion is invalid. I've tried different things. It doesn't work. When I bring up income and goals, I make them. When I don't bring up income and goals, no one contributes. It's pretty simple. Cause and effect. No, see, this is what I'm saying. Someone just tipped $1.50 and said, I do see some people playing games like Suikoden and Hollow Knight and getting 1,000 viewers. You're right. That's what I'm trying to bring up. Do you understand? It's not that I'm not successful. It's not that I don't have an audience. It's that the majority of that audience doesn't want to see me play these games that seem to be the best of the year. So what do I do? Do I adapt? Do I not play those games? Do I play them in a different method? Am I doing something wrong? Because it's not that I don't have an audience. I do. And that audience shows up and engages and in general supports my content, or else I wouldn't make a living. So then what is it about these particular games? That seems to be the answer that it's eluding me. And I'll be honest with you. One of the things that I do think it is, to be honest, is you have newcomers that come by every once in a while. They come to the stream and they see me playing a game and they get interested. Oh, wow, this is darksydephil. I've heard so much about this guy. Let's actually check out the stream. They'll watch the stream, and at the end of the stream, they'll be like, I don't understand. All these people on the internet say this guy is like the devil. They say he's a scumbag. They say all he talks about is money. Literally, that didn't happen in this stream. Yeah, he brought it up a few times, but that's not what it was all about. He didn't berate the viewers. He didn't attack people. In fact, that was an entertaining stream. Okay? So then they show up for their second stream. But then the second stream happens to be a game that I have to pay attention to the game. And then the troll brigade moves in. And they come in with their 100 accounts saying nasty things. Awful things, right? Robots, spam accounts, attacking. Or they're in Kick Chat, they enjoy their first night, but then you get a more sarcastic group. And this group is here to just basically dump on me and be toxic, right? Then that person says, oh, I'm going to do a super chat to support Phil because I like these first two streams I attended. So they do a super chat. And within 24 hours, they have 20, 30 people who are spam messaging them on their X account and their TikTok saying, hey, fuck you for supporting darksydephil, you piece of shit. You scumbag. Now we're going to harass you. Now we're going to dox you. And they fucking post their shit up on Kiwi farms. They're dox and shit. So why do you think I can't get a positive audience for games? Honestly. Why? Because now it's starting now to the point where I have changed so much in the last couple of years Even, and it's not just, oh, it's him. It's the quality of the content I'm putting out. No longer can you say his quality sucks. All his equipment's outdated. He doesn't try. He doesn't set anything up. Look at the setup. I set up all this shit for this morning, these lights and everything. Oh, no, it's not that. It's not that I don't put in effort. I'm here 6 days a week streaming full time, double streams. It's not that I don't have the equipment. It's not that I don't have the personality. It's that when people try to be positive new people, they get fucked with. So why would they stick around? Don't you think that after your first, second, third stream experience where there's a bunch of toxic jerks in the chat that I can't moderate, and then you're getting harassed for liking my content, don't you think people are going to leave? So how on earth could I ever grow? How could I ever get an audience for the hot new games that are popular like Clair Obscure or Blueprints or Silksong when people can't even have a safe environment to be in when they're on my streams? Right? And then if they try to search for my content, they get, Phil is a greedy asshole. Phil did this and I didn't do it at all. It's completely live, completely fabricated. Phil did this horrible thing. Phil crashes out on stream. And all you do is you watch the clip and it's just me reacting to like a cheap death on a game. You know, like everyone does on a gameplay stream. But Phil crashing out, that's the clip. See, Phil's an awful person. He crashed out. So what do you think is going to happen? Do you think I can even affect any of that stuff? It's an honest question. Could I affect any of that? Could I change any of that? I would like to have a positive audience that comes by for the good new games. I want to enjoy them. Why is it that I have to really struggle through certain styles of games that are the best of the year? But then if I just simply play a game that has like a repetitive game loop, again, like Call of Duty, then it goes well. I don't get it. To be honest with you, I don't get it because it used to be the opposite. It used to be people were here for the big chill games. They were here for Heavy Rain, for The Walking Dead. It didn't have to be a bunch of crazy gameplay. It could just be us relaxing and enjoying my company while I do commentary over a game like that. People loved it. Now it's, well, that's boring. Right? I don't even know what else to say. Well, guys, I think I've gabbed enough, but I do want to say, please, let's get some support so that now when I'm playing Suikoden 2, I don't have to worry the entire stream that it's going to be the dead stream. Let's go. We got no subs on Kick today. There was one resub. We got no subs at all. No memberships. The tips have been $1 each. Can we please get some support so when I'm playing Suikoden, it's like, well, it's another dead stream. We literally just had 8 or 9 straight streams of hitting the goals. Can we stop? Can we break this fucking pattern? I'm serious. I'm pissed at it now. This is a good game I'm about to play. Now, you might not agree or you might not respect the classics, and that's okay. But you at least respect my content or else you wouldn't be here in a positive capacity. Let's get some goddamn support right now so that when I play this game, I don't have to fucking worry about this shit. Let's go. I'm seriously skipping all this bullshit. Everyone's sending me $1 tip with toxic stuff. So just ignore this nonsense. Fuck you, and fuck you. Fuck these 3 dippy doos. There you go. All 3 morons. Fuck off. I'm not reading any of your messages because you're all trolls and you can kiss my ass. Okay.
I got the drip going. 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 I got the drip. It's like a faucet that's dripping. You can't make it stop. So what do you want me to do? Have a mute button that every second I'm tapping the mute button just in case I'm gonna have to clear. Like, this is what I mean. These dumb kids. This is what it is. It's dumb kids.